Good morning and welcome to your Friday Faith Fill-Up. I want to continue a thought that I began last week from Micah chapter 6 and verse number 8. He has showed thee, O man, what is good and what doth the Lord require of thee. Last week we looked at to do justly. And this week I want to look at to love mercy, the second thing that is mentioned there. First off, what is mercy? Well, mercy is something simple that I think we typically do, at least to a degree, understand. It means to be tender-hearted or kind, regardless whether somebody is our friend or foe. So it goes a little bit broader, I think, than we really want it to when you consider it with a definition like that. But there's two categories that the Bible really talks about when it comes to showing mercy. One of those is people that are less fortunate, to those that might be the fatherless or the widow or something along those lines. And that's important, but also the other illustration in Scripture, or example in Scripture, is that we would look at somebody that maybe hurts us or wrongs us, and we don't pay them back. We don't give them what we esteem in our mind that they deserve. Instead, we give them mercy. So both of those categories really do encompass really what it is. But when I think about Jesus and his example of when somebody comes and smites you on the cheek, what is our response? Well, the merciful response is that you offer the other cheek, that you're willing to go ahead and just turn the other cheek. There in Luke chapter 6, verse number 35 tells us that. But also we find in verse number 6, it says this, "Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful." So we find also the standard now in that the mercy we're supposed to show is the same mercifulness that God shows, the Father shows. That really, again, makes it a lot bigger than I think we want to think that it is. But mercy is this, it's when you're wronged, you, instead of responding and instead of trying to pay somebody back or get somebody back for something, that you stop and you can consider the situation and you can maybe look at that person and see what is it that maybe you need to understand about that situation. And it goes a step further and says, how can I help that person in that situation to be able to encourage them in some way. So mercy, when we see it the way that God says to see it as the Father, that we have to have the kind of mercy that is going to be not just forgiving towards people, but also helping people and in trying to get them to a place where they can then have mercy. But then it says this, it says to love mercy, to love mercy. Well, what does it really mean to love mercy? Well, love means what you think that it means, but if we're going to be like the Father and be merciful like the Father is, then we're going to love being merciful. In other words, we're not merciful out of duty, not because of a responsibility that we feel, but out of love. And it's a love for mercy itself, and to see the joy that it is to be able to give somebody mercy. I'm sure we've all given somebody a gift that we were just so excited to give them that gift that we were beside ourselves and maybe even couldn't sleep the night before. Kind of a silly story. I believe it was our second Christmas together for Wanda and I, that I had the best gift ever. I thought it was going to be the greatest thing and she was going to be so happy with it. I bought her a vacuum cleaner, which on your second Christmas together apparently isn't a really good idea. But I still remember how excited I was, even though she wasn't, but I remember how excited I was that I was getting this great gift for her. That's the idea here when it says to love mercy, that we are just so excited about the opportunity to show somebody mercy. But also when I think about loving mercy, I think this, that mercy is the default position that we're going to take. When somebody slights us maybe by something they say or something that they do, and maybe we're hurt, and maybe it's genuine that we've been hurt by somebody else, that our default position is going to be, well, I'm going to show this person mercy. I'm going to try and understand the situation. I want to end up doing good for them and see the opportunity that is there, and then to be able to be excited about it. That's what it is to love mercy. So I hope we can consider this and put into practice something in our lives. I think we all understand what it means to be merciful, but what does it really mean to love mercy? I think we can apply that and use it. I hope that's a blessing to you. We'll see you all on Sunday morning.